Hi, so today we're going to be covering an OCR Foundation Tier Paper 1 from 2017. Measure angle A using a protractor that would be 44 degrees. This would be an acute angle. This would be a parallel line. Use one of the symbols to make each statement true. You may use a calculator if you need to. If you use one, you'd find out that these are equal. This would be 184,300. This would be 0.625. This would be 42, 81. This would be 11, 41, and 23. Karen made 40 cakes. She gives 1/5 of them to Andrew. She gives 10% to Chris. What fraction of the 40 cakes does she have left? So 1/5 is 20%. So she has 70% left, which would be 0.7 times 40, 28. Out of 40. Points P and Q are shown on the grid. Write down the coordinates of point P. That is just simply 4, 3. Write down the coordinates of point Q. That is -2, -1. Plot point R and draw line y equals 3. This is R and y equals 3. Would just be this line here. Work out 17% of 54. You may use a calculator. This is 9.18. And to 1 dp that's 9.2. Simplify. So this would be 12t minus 10u. Factorize that. The largest common factor is 5. That would be it, and solve by factorizing. So you want 2 brackets equals 0. It will be x plus something, x plus something. The two numbers here must multiply to make 21 and add to make 10. So the possible solutions would be 7 and 3. That's the only solution. Now, if x plus 7 and x plus 3 equals 0, multiplied by x plus 3 equals 0, then either x plus 7 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. Why? Because 0 multiplied by anything else equals 0. So in this case, x equals -7, x equals -3. So x equals -7 or -3. Apple crumble is made using these ingredients. Susumu makes apple crumble to serve 12 people. How much flour should he use? So you just double the amount So it'll be 240 grams. Natalie makes apple crumble for 2 people. How much butter should she use? Divide that by 3, so it'll be 10 grams. Abina has 1.3 kilograms of apples and plenty of the other ingredients. Can she make apple crumble for 15 people? So 550 grams for 6. 15 over 6 is 2.5. 2.5 times 550 equals 1375 grams. So no, she doesn't have enough. Jorge recorded the scores of 120 goals. How many goals did Simon score? That would be 90 degrees, which is a quarter, so 30. Complete the table. So 120 people. Sorry, 120 goals. So 3 degrees per goal. So this would be 15, this would be 24, and the leftover would be, that would equal 39 degrees. So this would be 13. I won't draw it to scale, but just as a rough estimate. This would be Harry. This would be Obi. This is Anthony. And the largest sector would be Wayne. The pass mark for a test is 86%. Does Steve pass? So using the calculator, 52 over 61 equals 0.852. He does not pass. And that's because 0.852 is less than 0.86. "320 people go on a coach trip. Each coach holds 53 people. Is Gary correct? So 320 divided by 53 equals 6, remainder 2. So no, as 2 people are left over. And that would mean you'd need a 7th coach or 7th vehicle. For question 12, Trish and Mark both cycled the same distance. Trish completed the distance in 2 hours. Her average speed was 16 mph. Mark completed the distance in 4 hours. Find Mark's average speed. So Mark took twice as long. Therefore his speed would be half. So it would be 16 over 2, which is 8. So it would be 8 miles per hour. The ratio 20 minutes to an hour can be written in the form of 1 to n, so n would be 3. because there are 60 minutes in an hour. The scale on the map is 1 to 25,000. How many kilometers on the ground is represented by 6 centimeters on the map? So 6 times 25,000. 150,000. So if you want to convert that to meters, it would be take off 2 zeros. If you want to convert that to kilometers, you go back 3. So that would be 1.5 kilometers. Kira and Peter share some sweets in the ratio of 6 to 7. What fraction of the sweets does Kiri receive? So total there are 13 parts, so it would be 6 over 13. Write 543,000 in standard form. That would be 5.43 times 10 to the 5. Here 10 is to the power of minus 2, so that means there would be 2 zeros preceding the 6 and the 3. So it would be 0.063. So using the calculator, you can tell that his answer is correct, but typically standard form is written where the number that you're multiplying by 10 to the power of something is less than 10. So it should be 2.44 times 10 to the 8. Therefore, no, he is incorrect. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas buy tickets for themselves and their 4 children. The cost of an adult ticket is £7 more than the cost of a child ticket. Work out the total cost of the 6 tickets is 86. Work out the cost of an adult ticket. So C plus 7, the child ticket plus 7 equals an adult ticket. So 4 children would be 4C plus 2 adults would be 2 brackets C plus 7, which is 2C plus 14 plus 4C equals 86. So 6C plus 14 equals 86. 6C equals 72. C equals 12. Adult equals £19. The scale diagram shows the positions of towns A and B. So for this question, 1 centimeter represents 10 miles. So 50 miles would be 5 centimeters. Draw an arc with a radius of 5 centimeters from B. Then you'd measure the distance from A and B. You'd half that and draw a perpendicular line parallel to the line that we just drew. And then you'd shade in the overlapped region. At the start of 2014, Priya's house was worth 240,000. The value of a house increased by 5% every year. Work out the value of a house at the start of 2017. So here you wouldn't just do 5% times 3 equals 15%. You would, as it's compound interest, you would do this is what you would do. Using the calculator, you would get £277,830. (18A). This would be, so 490 goes into 7 and 70, which goes into 7 and 10, which goes into 5 and 2. So it would be 2 times 5 times 7 squared. Part B, buses to Ayton leave the station every 25 minutes. Buses to Bleaford leave the station every 40 minutes. Buses to both places leave at 9 AM. What is the next time buses to Ayton and Bleaford leave the station together. So you need to find the lowest common multiple of 40 and 25. One way to do that is to simply just list out multiples of each until you find one that matches. So 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, and for Bleaford it would be 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. These both match, so that would be 200 minutes. 200 plus 9 a.m. is 3 hour 20, so that would be 12:20 p.m. Kirsty either travels by bus or walks when she visits the shops. The chance she catches the bus to the shops is 0.3. The probability that she catches the bus from the shops is 0.8. So fill in this tree diagram. This would be 0.7. This would be 0.8. Therefore this has to be 0.2, 0.8 and 0.2. Show the probability that Kirsty walks at least one way is 0.76. So to answer this question, you'd find the possible combinations where you're walking at least one way. So it could either be bus, walk, walk, bus, or walk, walk. So bus walk would be 0.3 times 0.2. And you'd add up each of these, so plus walk bus would be 0.7 times 0.8. And walk walk would be 0.7 times 0.2. If you add them all up, you'd get 0.76. Mo's tire shows a reading which is 12% higher than the actual pressure. What is the actual pressure? So Mo's would show 38.64. That's 12% higher. So that would be 112%. So 38.64 divided by 1.12 is your answer. That would be 34.5. Be careful with this question because some people would divide by or times by 0.88, but that's not the same as dividing by 1.12. The diagram shows a semicircle inside a rectangle of length 120 meters. Calculate the perimeter of the shaded. So we know that the diameter of the circle is 120, so the radius must be 60. So this would be 60. So now we need to find the arc, which would be, so the perimeter of a circle is pi d. So that would be pi times 120. But what we're looking at is a quarter of a circle, the arc. So that would be over 4. So it's 30 pi. So it'd be 100. This would be 60, 60, and 30 pi. So it'd be 120 plus 30 pi, which equals 214 meters. A, B, C, and D are 4 towns. B is 25 kilometers due east of A. C is 25 kilometers due north of A. D is 25 kilometers due south of A. Work out the bearing of B from C. So to approach this question, I'll simply draw a right angle triangle. And here we want to find the bearing of B from C. So this would be 25, 25. So tan B equals 25 over 25. So tan B equals 1. B would be 45 degrees. Now that's not quite the answer, as bearings work differently. So this is the angle we want. And this would be 180 minus 45, which equals 135 degrees. Part B, calculate the bearing of D from B. So bearing of D from B, we'll draw another right angle triangle. Where we've labelled AB as 25, AD is 45, and now we want to find this angle. So that angle would be tan B equals 45 over 25, opposite over adjacent. And then inverse tan would equal angle B, which is 60.9 degrees. And the angle we want from the question is this one. Because line AB is perpendicular to north, we would add up this bit. The bit that I shaded in is 180 degrees, and we'll do 90 minus the 60.9. And add that to 180. So 90 minus 60.9 equals 29.05. Add that to 180 equals 209 degrees. The table shows the average number of customers per day. Complete the time series graph below. So here I've completed them. Make 2 different comments comparing the number of customers entering the shop in 2015 and 16. So one thing you can talk about is the total number of people shopping. So there are more total customers in 2016 versus 15. Another thing you could talk about is talk about specific seasons. So for instance, you could say from January to March, 2016 had more customers compared to 2015. The final question for the paper. Each week, Dan drives 2 routes, route X and Y, 1 week he drives route X 3 times and route Y twice. He drives a total of 134 miles that week. Another week he drives route X twice and route Y 5 times. He drives a total of 203 miles per week. Find the length of each route. So this would be a simultaneous equation you have to solve. So 3x plus 2y equals 134. 2x plus 5y equals 203. So one thing you can do is treat this as equation 1 and equation 2. For equation 2, if you multiply everything by 1.5, you'd get 3x plus 7.5y equals 304.5 miles. Now we can subtract that from equation 1. Now we can subtract equation 1 from that. 3x minus 3x is nothing. 7.5y minus 2y, so it would be 5.5y, and that equals 304.5 minus 134. Which equals 170.5. Now we divide that by 5.5 to get y equals 31. If y equals 31, we can solve the original equation. So 3x plus 2 times 31, so 62 equals 134. 3x equals 72, x equals 24. State an assumption that has been made in answering part A. One assumption that's been made is that he takes the exact same route each time. For reasons, for example, he might take a stop in a petrol station, or there might be a traffic jam where he has to slightly change the route. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below.